to me, I've raised a lot of kids in this industry.
Yeah, like how you spoke about Chris Brown at the beginning, 13 years, that makes you like his entertainment mom, to say it that way. Wasn't it hard to like separate and go to the left and he go to the right, like as being so long? Because he's been loyal since the beginning. You guys build an empire. You gave us one of the biggest R&B artists of this generation right now. I can imagine that also being, like your son. How was that? How was
You know, it's crazy because when it was time for us to part ways, I was ready because it was a lot. In several ways. A lot because he doesn't sleep. He had to be occupied 24 hours a day pretty much.
Okay.
Because his mind moves. He's always creating. He'll call me 4 a.m. I got this idea for the video. Can you write this down and tell me if this makes sense? Or I got this idea for this song. Or I have this idea for... It was always something creative that he had. I want to create a line. I want to do a philanthropic. I want to do this. So for me, that was a lot. But then with the Rihanna situation and all the other stuff that was going on, I was putting out fires every 5 minutes. And at that point, I had some medical issues from ulcers to cysts growing, things like that, that caused from stress. Yeah. So I was like, I can't do this anymore. I have to go. But mind you, because we were so close, I did not want to leave without him having someone. And every time I said I was about to leave, it was always drama. Or I'd say, you know what? I think it's time for me to back up.
He didn't want you to go.
No, it was always extra. It was a lot. And between him and his mom, it was a lot to make that transition. And I mean, mainly because that's security for both of us. And I was there from the beginning. So, and because I introduced him to everyone in the industry, I think a lot of times they thought that the relationship, that people would not basically believe in him or put time in him because I'm gone. So I think that might have scared them a little bit. But for me, I was just ready to stop. So I had to find someone that would take him from me.
Oh, wow.
To get out of there.
Yeah. Because what I thought was very interesting in his situation, I like the fact, I don't know if it was your idea, to do the documentary. He did a documentary where he explained his own background in the whole Rihanna situation. I think that was a very smart move.
That was after me.
That was after me. Okay, no, I think that was a very smart move. And what I liked about his situation is that he proved you could come back after being canceled. Because he was like literally canceled. I remember at the radio station where I work at, there was like,
they wouldn't play it.
Yeah, we couldn't. And then I played some songs, and then I got like, not dispelled, but I was like, why do you do that? His music is amazing. He did that Deuces song. I was playing it. He was like, no, you can't play it. I was like, yo, this is his comeback song. And then afterwards, it blew up in the States. And then people was like, okay, we can play him again. And he's been smashing ever since. I think that's very unique. I don't know how you felt about it, but that's, to me, is like his undeniable talent and his perseverance.
You know, it's funny because at like your station, no one would play him on the radio.
Yeah.
And at that point, you had to have radio. There were no DSPs and different other platforms for you to use, to break. No TikTok. Twitter wasn't even around, really. It was just starting. So it was hard to try and get him, over that hump or get people to change their minds, because before it happened, everyone loved him. Kids, parents were dropping their kids off at hotels like, go get Chris Brown. Go get him. And I'm like, if you don't put your daughter back in your car, stop. Yeah. Like parents were sending their kids to the hotel. It was that bad because he was a sweetheart to the world, right? Yeah. So they were like, he's a good kid. I want you to marry this kid. Go get him.
But people don't know that parents do that.
That.
Yeah, they don't know. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And, and fortunately, his mom and all of us, we were not down with that. We were like, no, take your child and leave. We'd have security handle it. But what was we talking? I'm sorry, I missed the point.
No, explain how I was saying how he made his comic with Deuces and nobody was playing it on the radio.
So before. The radio, yeah. So what we decided was we needed to figure out a way to get him back on radio. And the way that we did it was we put him on features for everything. Anybody that called us, he jumped on it. It was a feature on everything. And meanwhile, Tyga stood next to him. He was the only one that would stand right next to him and do videos and everything else with him, right? So he started doing mixtapes. You remember they were doing mixtapes and stuff like that. And Tyga introduced him to Colin, who was a video director who was just starting at the time, Colin Tilley. And so Chris and I started finding new producers, finding new writers. We had Joel James and Seven Streeter and Kevin. And Kevin played him Deuces, and we were like, that shit is crazy. And he had produced it and wrote it himself, but then he had, verses. So we ended up putting that together, and we were like, that's the strategy. We're going to do a whole bunch of mixtapes and just keep flooding the business, putting music out, but we'll also feature on everybody that calls us. So every time a big artist puts a record out, they have to play it. So they have to play it on radio. So after a while, every other record was featuring Chris Brown.
Yeah.
And they had to play it because they wanted to play that artist. So
smart.
That's how we were able to get back at radio. And then Deuces came right after that.
Yeah.
And then Strip and a few others came after that from mixtapes.
Yeah.
And we made them singles. They were out on mixtapes for free, and then we put them out as singles.
Yeah.